watching the ACC on ESPN. Tonight on the campus of Duke University, Manny Diaz, he's all smiles as he enters his second season, coming off a 9-win campaign. He's got a new starting quarterback, transfer Darian Mensah, while Elon and head coach Tony Trisciani and mobile yet inexperienced quarterback Landon Clark look to pull off the upset. Welcome to the 2025 season. Matt Chick, Forrest Connolly, who is just slightly taller than me. Forrest, no more talk about house settlements and NIL and college football playoff expansion. It's time to actually play the sport of football.
No more two-a-days. The pads are on, full pads, and they get to hit somebody in a different color. So both teams are excited about it. We're excited about it. The first full weekend of college football. Everybody's ready to go.
And Duke is ready to go. Coming off that 9-win campaign, 14 starters back, half dozen really important key pieces in the transfer portal, including at quarterback.
Well, Darian Mensah, you talked about it in the open. He is the key transfer for this program. 6th in pass efficiency last year. The 5 guys in front of him, all NFL draft picks. This guy gets the ball out. He does well moving around the pocket, and Duke feels like he is the missing piece to get them past that 9-win plateau they reached last season.
Darian Mensah, a perfect fit for what Duke wants to do. He's been winning off the field. We'll see if he can win on the field as well, as sporting the number 10 for the Blue Devils. He is fired up and ready to go. Now for Elon, they're also starting a new quarterback tonight, yet slightly less starting experience.
Well, for Landon Clark, this is his first ever start as the starter for Elon. And you talk about a guy that's a dual threat. Elon likes the fact that he can move with his feet, and he'll have to be active in that pocket. Remember, this is a team that gave up 8 sacks against this same Duke defense last year, so they're wary of that. Landon Clark has to be able to move in the pocket. He has to be multiple this afternoon for this Duke, for Elon to do well against this Duke defense.
Duke has won the toss. They have deferred. Elon will receive as we start things off tonight on ACC Network. Duke coming off that 9-win campaign. Elon Phoenix out of the FCS. From Elon, North Carolina, near Burlington. Just a half-hour away from Durham. No better way to kick it off than right here. Todd Polino set to kick it off. TJ Thomas Jr. set to return to the end zone, and he will let that ball bounce for the touchback. Let's go down to the field to our third member of our crew, Michaela Chester. Michaela, what type of challenges will this young quarterback face tonight?
Well, Landon Clark's got a few because he will be without 2 of his top receivers. I checked in moments before the game. Jamarian Dalton and Isaiah Furman are out. But the good news is Keenaz McMillian will be playing. I watched him warming up before the game. But on top of all of that, guys, he's got to stay upright. Duke had 8 sacks in the season opener versus Elon last season.
Yeah, absolutely, Michaela. Thanks so much. Duke's defensive front was forwarding their mail to the backfield of Elon a season ago. TJ Thomas Jr. in the backfield. Here's Clark. Clark already in trouble, going down, but threw it away. Aaron Hall, Josiah Green, able to pressure him.
An immediate pressure from the right side of that offensive line. Luke Duska had to do a better job of setting back, getting his hands up, getting those shoulders out of that. You cannot allow that defender to get to your body.
You know, it's an Elon offense that averaged 38 points a game over their 4-game final stretch last year. So we have a stoppage in play. Perhaps an early season review here, 4 seconds in. No better way to stop the momentum of a college football game.
And not what you want your young quarterback to see early in the football game.
The runner was down,
at
the 19-yard line.
And he was.
The second down.
So quick review.
And coming into the game, we talked about pressure from the quarterback position that we expected Elon to face, that they faced last season. Not what you want to see on the first play of the game, especially when you've got a young quarterback. You want to allow him to get a little bit comfortable. You want to let him get set up back there. They've got to do a better job of protecting at the point of attack, not allowing immediate pressure on the quarterback.
8 sacks last year in this game. They've got 1 sack in the first play. Second down and 16. Clark fighting his way across the 20, and not much more there. That defensive front for us, Connolly, is one that's going to have to be reckoned with, especially come ACC play as we look at Coach Trisciani. 6 or more wins in 4 straight seasons. 4 straight years of 500 or better. That hasn't been done since the Pete Lembo days, about 15 years ago. He's really built this program. Certainly a building block program, and that one is stopped. That's T.J. Thomas Jr. Chandler Rivers, who's on every preseason watch list with the TFL, loss of 3.
And you see what Elon is doing. They've got slide protection. They're trying to do some misdirection, but the speed of the Duke defender, Chandler Rivers, to react and change directions and get across the back of the formation to make that tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That is what the difficulty is in facing this Duke defense. When you do the misdirection, they have speed from the backside that can run plays down.
Well, one of the best players for Elon is their punter, Jeff York, preseason all-conference, 3rd in all of college football in punting average last season. By Sean Brown. Not much room to go. Maybe a gain of 2, a return of 2 after the punt of 44 yards from Jeff York. And now, the debut of Darian Mensah, one of the high-profile transfers in the offseason, voted team captain and hasn't played it down yet.
And that shows you the leadership of this young man. They said he has an aura about him, and he brings that into the room, the meeting rooms, and they said the receivers trust him, the offensive line trust him. So it's time for him now to introduce himself to the Duke fan base.
Led the American Athletic Conference in yards per attempt. Completion percentage was terrific for Tulane. Mensah showing that mobility, throws it across the midfield. Cooper Barcade. Cooper Barcade, who is a FCS All-American at Harvard, gets the first reception and first down of the season.
And you see the results of the portal right here. Darian Mensah getting out to Cooper Barcade, 2 of the big pieces that they picked up in the portal.
Gain of 30, and Duke is off and running. Marquez Moore stopped behind the line. Might have got back to that line of scrimmage. Ishmael Atkins with the stop. Mensah last season, 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Also had a touchdown on the ground as well. He's a dual threat, but he does most of the damage with his arm. Marquez Moore in the backfield. Mensah pulls it from the belly, throws it to his tight end. That's Jeremiah Hasley. Fortunate to have him back on the field. One of those tight ends who was injured last season. They had a couple of guys banged up. He's looking to make up for lost time.
And Hasley, a former linebacker, you see the size of this kid, 6'3", 245 pounds. He's very chiseled out there at that tight end position.
See Manny Diaz, 9 wins, tied for the most by Duke first-year head coach, one of only 3 to coach Duke to a bowl game in his first season. Picked 11th, finished tied for 4th. That one PBU broken up there by Sequavius, also Brooks, intended for Barcade, brings up 4th down.
And that was a great play by Sequavius, also Brooks. He read the receiver. He did a good job of keeping his hands off of him and breaking on the football right when the ball got there. He reached over Barcade and was able to knock that ball down. So a good job on the outside to knock that ball out and put them in a position to have to go for a field goal.
44-yard field goal for Todd Polino. Scored the first Duke points last year against Elon. Had a couple of field goals, and this one is wide right. Coach Trisciani loving what he sees from his defense. Gets off the field, and they will have the football coming up. No score, just a few minutes into the 2025 season at Duke. Magic Force Connolly here with you. A year ago, Duke opened up against Elon. Malik Murphy threw a pair of short touchdown passes. The story, though, the Duke defense, 8 sacks, 16 tackles for loss, holding Elon to just 140 total yards and 3 points. But Forrest, it was a game at halftime, and Elon trying to do the same here.
Well, the thing for Elon, they've got to be efficient on first and second down. For your young quarterback, you want to put him in third and manageable. They did not do that the first series when they gave up the sack on the first play. They're starting this series off better. You got 3 yards on first down. Now get 3 to 4 yards on second down. Put him in a better third down, a manageable third down.
2nd down and 7 here for Landon Clark. Clark into the flat. T.J. Thomas Jr. eludes one, cannot elude the second. Nick Morris Jr. on the stop, and that is the first collegiate completion for Landon Clark. Put it in the books, 3rd down.
And although he did not make the tackle, Kamari Robinson disrupted the play just enough to knock the ball carrier off his track and not allow him to plan and get north and south. That's what you have to do. You don't always necessarily have to make the play, but do something to affect the play.
Manny Diaz said, just do your job. Don't try to hit a grand slam with nobody on base. The plays will come. 3rd down and 8 at the 29. Clark wrapped up. Another sack. Vincent Anthony Jr. He had a pair of sacks last year against Elon. He's on the board. Loss of 5, 4th down.
And the pressure came from all sides. You saw pressure coming from the outside. The offensive tackles, they have to be stout at the point of attack. You saw a tackle land twist. The guards, they have to stay upright. You cannot give up too much ground. You have to give the quarterback a pocket to step up into. The guards give the depth. The tackles give the width.
That punt nearly blocked. That will bounce at the 42. There is a flag right around the place where Jeff Urich punted that ball away. 47 yards on the punt. That was his average last year, an Elon record, and tops in the FCS.
Run into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Coach Trisciani electing to re-kick. Let's watch again.
And a good job by the punter. I don't know. That looks like a roughing the kicker because he hit the plant foot.
Yeah, they are not going to re-kick that.
But usually when you hit the plant foot, they call that roughing the kicker. They got away with one right there.
Leon Griffin III was the one running in there. He's getting an up-close look at what he did there. But they did decline the penalty, and now Darian Mensah will get a 2nd shot. You saw that long completion, Cooper Barkay. Then the draw kind of stymied, stopped, and missed the field goal. We'll see what they can do here in drive number 2. Darian Mensah, Coach Brewer, the offensive coordinator, said he's just excited to watch him go. A lot of folks excited to see the transfer from Tulane tonight. Jaquez Moore trying to find his way through tacklers. He does. Look at Jaquez Moore go, nearing a 1st down. Call it a gain of 9. Last year, played against Elon and then was shelved for much of the season with injuries. He's back and ready to go.
And you see on this play, Darian James Hamilton, number 8, comes up from the safety position. He has to make that tackle.
Trying to go fast, maybe a little too quickly here.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Bruno Fina, graduate student out of Tucson, whose younger brother Roman also in that offensive line depth chart. Second down at 6. Mensah to the far sideline and in and out of the hands of Barkay. Coach Manny Diaz telling us the analytics say he's great on contested catches. Well, that was not contested. Should have caught that one.
And Barquet, you've got to help your quarterback out on that play. Your quarterback sprinting outside of the pocket. You've got to squeeze that football. You cannot try and make a play without the football. He was trying to, it looked like he was trying to make sure he was not going to be out of bounds, but you've got to squeeze that football and get possession of it.
3rd down and 6 for Duke. As his man, that's Samir Higgins, and he stopped shy of the 1st down. Gain of 2 on the play. Needed 6. And the punting unit will come back on. Bryson Scott with the stop.
And the coaching staff talked about Bryson Scott. They said in camp he's shown the ability to play all 5 positions on the back end of that defense. You saw right there a good job of making the tackle.
DJ Hamilton back to return. Cade Reynoldson gets this one away. Hamilton calls for the fair catch after the 46-yard punt. Wave the flag. Cooper Flag. Former Dookie had a cup of coffee here in Durham, getting set for his first NBA season. Back after this. Matt Chick Force Connolly. Force a lot of things you got to get ready for when the lights come on.
Well, no season game tape. You don't know what the other team's going to do. Unscouted concepts. You don't know what the concept of the defense is, especially for Duke coming into this game against Elon with 2 new coordinators. Conditioning and substitutions. How conditioned are you right now with not knowing and not playing in the game and the speed of the game? Rules changes, special teams. There's just so much that has to happen and that you go through in that first game of the season.
Landon Clark showing some of his mobility nearing a first down. Call it 9 for Landon Clark. They've had mobility at the quarterback spot before at Elon, but maybe not like this for us.
Well, what I like about Landon Clark, he runs fearlessly between the tackles, and he's got a convoy in front of him. And that's what you want to see from Elon. Get in front of your running quarterback. Give him a lane to run. Give him some positive yards. Give him something positive. And now you've put him in very manageable second down, 2nd and 1.
4 receivers set here for Clark. Pulls it from the belly, and Clark is off and running across the 40. First down. Gain of 14 for the redshirt freshman, Jaden Francois. The transfer is able to take him down.
And you see the speed of the Duke defense, the aggression. They're going with the ball fake. Landon Clark does a good job at the mesh point of pulling that ball out. He reads the defenders coming downhill. He sees the lane. He gets up in that alley.
Their first down of the night for the Elon Phoenix. And Frederick in the backfield. Clark. Pass misfires there to Zymir Winston in the flat. It's going to be interesting tonight for us without a couple of his key receivers. Mentioned off the top, you heard McKella. Jamarian Dalton with that foot injury. We know Kenaz McMillian is playing. Isaiah Furman was doubtful tonight, not likely to go.
Well, that gives other guys an opportunity, but you've got to step up to the plate if you're one of those other guys and help your young quarterback. But the offensive line also has to do a better job of giving him time to go through his progressions and find somewhere to go with the football.
Dalton with 31 receptions last year. Don't want to see that on crutches, as you see a loss of 2. That's Aaron Hall in the backfield, tackling Dan Frederick, brings up third down.
And right now, the offensive line, they're just not firing out and getting good fits. And when I say good fits, I mean getting good hand placement in between the shoulder pads of the defenders, getting your feet and rolling your hips up under you to duck walk those guys out of the pocket. They've got to do a better job. The first to make contact is usually the first that wins.
Offensive line that lost 145 career starts from last year, only 19 return, and it shows. Trey Freeman finding the backfield, another sack. Jaden Francois coupling on the coverage in the backfield, loss of 3.
And that's youth right there. The quarterback has to be able to read that. But the offensive linemen have got to do a better job of looking at and seeing where the pressure is coming from. On that particular play, you had 3 offensive linemen blocking 1 defender. One of those guys has got to realize pressure's coming from the outside and fan out, but the quarterback needs to feel that as well and know where the pressure's coming from.
3 sacks already for Duke. Again, they had 8 in last year's game, and there's why he's one of the best in the country. Jeff Yerk downed at the 5, 57-yard punt. Preseason all-conference player. Oh, yeah, just a chip shot. Matching alongside Forrest Connolly as he coached Tricciani in his 7th season. Did a great job of building this as a foundational developmental program there at Elon. And Elon joined the Coastal Athletic Conference in 2014 after 11 seasons in the Southern Conference, just about 30 miles away here from Durham.
One of the things he talked to us about is keeping talent. He knows when his talent is good, it's very likely he's going to lose them to a Power 4 program. So they focused on developing high school talent and recruiting well.
Mensah looking downfield, finds his man. That's Samir Higgins, his 2nd catch of the night. And that is good enough for a 1st down.
And one of the things that Mensah excelled in is looking down the field when he sprints outside the pocket. He did a good job of that last year at Tulane, and you see his ability to get the ball down the field when he gets outside the pocket.
And so misfire there, intended for Quayshawn Brown.
And when you run that fast-paced offense, sometimes quarterbacks get out of rhythm. You see right there he didn't set his feet. And I think when you run that fast-paced, you've also, as a quarterback, got to realize, okay, we're fast-paced to get the snap. But at that point, slow down a little bit. Allow the play to develop.
Mensah says reading defenses is his superpower. How about a little bubble there? Nowhere to go. Quayshawn Brown stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brody Carroll, who's there, the former Division II standout.
And it's a game of chess right now. Mensah, he does a good job of reading defenses with his pre-snap reads, but you see Elon is giving him several different looks. They're doing a good job of breaking to the football, not allowing themselves to be blocked. You see on that play a good job by Powell getting up the field, not allowing the blocker to get to him to make that tackle.
3rd down and 10. Casey Vance's defense has come to play tonight in Durham. Peyton Jones in the backfield, 1 on the play clock. Mensah, a timeout by Manny Diaz.
30-second charge timeout. Duke, they're first.
This game last year was 3-0 going into the half. Elon missed the field goal. Duke had a big play and was able to get the ball down in the red zone and get a touchdown right before the half to go up 10-0. But it could have been 3-3 or 3-0 going into the half last year. So Elon feels capable. And right now, is the more they hang around, the more confidence this young team starts to get. And remember, with a bunch of young players, and Coach Tricciani talked about it, they don't know that they're not supposed to win this football game. They come in feeling confident with a lot of energy.
Todd Polino has missed a field goal tonight. It was 44 yards. You look at last year's, again, it was 10-0 at the half, 3-0 with about a few minutes to go before the half. And finished 26-3 with those 8 sacks from that Duke defense. Duke's defense is doing the job. They're waiting for the offense to click a little bit.
And right now, if you're Elon, keep everything in front of you. Give up the underneath route, but make the tackle.
3rd down and 10 for Darian Mensah, one of the captains here on this team. Played his 1st game for the Blue Devils. Mensah looking over the middle of the field, finds his man. That's Brown. 1st down, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Gain of 25 on the play. They needed that one.
Elon rushed forward right there. They dropped 7 in the coverage, but a good job by Mensah allowing the play to develop. Allow Brown to find the open in the zone, the open area in the zone, and delivering a strike to him.
They call him Queso. Quayshawn Brown, top 5 in Duke history in receptions and receiving yards by a freshman last season. Off to a nice start as the sophomore. Mensah looking down the far right side, has his man, but it's overshot. Cooper Barkate again, who has a 30-yard reception, dropped another pass, and that one's over his head. Mensah does like to throw it deep. Last season, look at the yards per attempt, 3rd national.
And he had what he wanted on that play. No safety help over the top. You just got to put a little bit more air under the football and allow Barkate to run under it. 2nd
down and 10 for Duke. Just outside the 40. No score here in the season opener. So has Andrell Anthony. Andrel Anthony, a couple of solid seasons at Michigan, had a stop in Oklahoma as well, and they are hoping that his addition with his speed can add some big plays.
And you see Elon trying to generate pressure with tackle and twist. They're doing some stunting, but they're still not able to get pressure. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about those 4 returning offensive linemen for Duke. There's a lot of trust there, and they do a good job of switching off and knocking each other off and protecting the quarterback in pass pro.
3rd down and 2, they pick up the 1st down. Anderson Castle, grad transfer from App State, gets the carry, gain of 4, move the chains, and the O-line getting the push.
You see that veteran offensive line firing off with flatbacks. That's what you want to see. You want to see those guys getting pushed. You want to see a little bit more push at the point of a contact, but you see those guys firing off. They just need to have flatbacks, keep a wide base, and keep inside hands.
4 of their 5 starting 5 from last year are back this year. Pass over to the right side. That's Moore. Jesse Powell, the 2nd with the stop. Gain of 8 for Jaden Moore. The redshirt freshman did not play last year. It's his first collegiate reception. Mensah. Pass over to the far side. They've got his man. He's crossed the 30-yard line. That's Jaden Moore again. Liked it so much the first time, they went back to the well. Gain of 15. Back-to-back catches for the redshirt freshman.
And this is what you want to do. Get the ball out to your playmakers in space. Allow them to be great. Tony Hart, you're there. You've got to make that tackle. The defender number 0, you've got to break down and make the tackle. You can't go flying up. Moore did a good job of stepping to the inside with the fake and then getting up the field. That's what you want to do. Get the ball to your playmakers on the outside. And you see Mensah starting to get into a rhythm now.
And you wondered how long that would take, right? They had to kind of microwave the relationship between him and the wide receivers. Got off to a really good start in the spring. A couple just showed up, though. So you've got to microwave that, and they've been able to do that tonight.
One of the things they talked about, too, is, you know, they pared down some of their installs because all of those guys weren't there. And, you know, so they just got them all together in the fall. And once again, you've got a new quarterback. You can practice all you want, but until you see live action, you're not going to develop that consistency that you want to see. You're starting to see that as the game pushes along, and he's getting more and more drives under his belt.
Michaela Chester down on the field. We'll get to her in just a moment with more on Darian Mensah. 1st down and 10. Mensah fakes the run, throws over the middle of the field, has his man, but it's dropped by Peyton Jones. Would have been a touchdown, but Peyton Jones drops that one. The 2nd drop for Duke tonight.
And you see a little bit of Tebow action with Mensah. He steps up like he's getting ready to run, and he comes back. And you see number 33 bit on that play, Brody Carroll. But you got to squeeze the football. Peyton Jones probably got excited because he knew he was getting ready to score a touchdown and took his eyes off the football.
He's had some big plays, especially last season. Jones again scampers for a couple. Let's go down to McKellen.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned Mensah working on the connection with the wideouts. I talked to offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer, and he admitted it actually wasn't a quick process. A lot of their skills didn't arrive until summer. They had to hit pause on putting things into the offense for about a week just so that they could get some more reps and figure it out. But now it is all great. Brewer tells them, guys, do whatever he tells you to do. He is our guy.
Yeah, he says run the routes the way he tells you to run them. That's the trust they have in their new quarterback. 3rd down and 8. To the end zone, over the head. Samir Hagan's the intended receiver, so 1 drop touchdown. That one an overshoot. And Todd Polino, the field goal unit, will come on.
Interesting that they go for it all on that play as opposed to trying to get the 1st down. I thought they did a good job of moving the ball down the field with some short, quick routes. We saw the big 25-yard play. But I thought they maybe should have allowed Mensah to get outside the pocket and try and get the 1st down as opposed to trying to get it all on that play.
41-yard attempt here for Polino. Missed from 44 wide right earlier. Polino, this one is true. Scored the first Duke points last year against Elon and does it this season as well. 3-0 Blue Devil. Could have been more, though. Should have been more.
And that's a win, again, I think, for the Elon defense. You give up a big play on that big pass play. You give up a couple of first downs, but you bend but don't break. And once again, we talk about hanging around, getting confidence, feeling like you can play with this Duke offense. One of the things Duke wanted to do coming into this ball game is establish the run, something they did not do well last year against this team, only averaging 2.2 yards, something they did not do well last season as a whole. So they wanted to get better running the football. They have not been able to run the ball very effectively against this Elon defense so far. And like I said, Elon's bending but not breaking. The question is, can this Elon offense get something going? We saw the last drive, Clark got some runs right up the gut of that defense. Will they go back to that quarterback run?
13 plays, 72 yards. Took 4.5 minutes and ends in the 41-yard field goal. Well, Landon Clark's going to have to avoid this pressure that he's been facing for him.
Well, the offensive tackles have got to do a better job of protecting on the outside, giving him an edge, and the guards in the center. You've got to give him a pocket to step up into. You've got to protect the depth of the pocket. And here, Clark, a young quarterback, he's got to recognize and identify where the pressure is coming from and get rid of the football. Wherever the pressure is coming from, that's where you need to go with the football.
Nearly halfway to last season's total in last year's matchup. T.J. Thomas Jr. has some burn, but can't get by Luke Murgatt. Luke Murgatt, the redshirt sophomore, with the stop, flag behind the play.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense, number 3. That penalty's enforced half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Landon Bakey, the redshirt junior out of Weddington High School in Monroe, the guilty party.
And these are to protect the defenders. You see right there, Bakey on the blind side block right there on the defender. Back when I played, those were called knockout blocks, but you've got to protect the players. I know fans from Elon probably don't like that call, but that is to protect the player.
Another flag on the play as Clark tackled behind the line. Kendall Johnson, the first man in, the redshirt sophomore from Maryland.
Holding, offense, number 69. That penalty declined. Second down.
Back-to-back penalties here for the Phoenix. Braden Walker is moving from left guard last year, was a center in high school. Playing center tonight, redshirt sophomore out of Virginia. Yeah, just 19 starts return to this offensive line. They talked about needing to move the launch point of the quarterback, knowing they would be tested. They've got some flags to prove it. T.J. Thomas Jr. in the backfield. Walker to the flat. Zymir Winston with a minimal gain.
You see the quick hit pass right there. You just want to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands or try and get it to a playmaker in space. They threw it to the boundary side of the field, the short side of the field. So you've got to get exceptional blocking on that side because there's not a lot of room for the offensive player to operate once he gets possession of the football.
That was Kenaz McMillian, correction, was questionable coming in. Had a breakout camp. Picks up a couple of yards, and now third down and 20. T.J. Thomas Jr., 1 cut. 2 cuts, 3 cuts. There he goes. T.J. Thomas Jr. to the opposite 40. He is a home run hitter, and he nearly went the distance. Gain of 44.
Yeah, a lot happened on this play. You see the misdirection. You get everything flowing one way. Then you get Thomas the football, and there you have it. One of your playmakers in the open field. This is the advantage that the Elon coaches felt like they had. If they could get the ball to Thomas one-on-one against the Duke defenders, they felt like they would win that.
Missed the last 4 games with an injury last year. A freshman All-American season. Off to a good start through 1.
Welcome back to Wallace Wade Stadium. The score is 3-0 after the first quarter. Held them to a field goal, making some progress on this drive. How do you alleviate some of the pressure on your quarterback right now?
You know, we've got to certainly create some separation. They are playing suffocating coverage on the back end, so we've got to create some separation. Landon's an athlete. He's going to be able to escape from some of those, and they've got him with an arm here and there, but, you know, we got to get the ball out quick, and establishing a run game is going to help us.
All right, Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
And T.J. Thomas had that long run of 40-plus yards to end the first quarter, and then Clark shows his elusiveness for a gain of 3.
And I like getting Clark outside the pocket. It allows him to have more time to try and find something down the field, but it also puts him in a one-on-one situation with the defender on the outside if he chooses to run the football.
Clark with the pitch to Thomas. Thomas, no chance to cut there. Trey Freeman, who already has a sack tonight, met him at the line.
And Dylan Magazoo, you got to do a better job of helping your guy on the outside. Number 34, you've got to make that block. If he makes that block, Thomas has an area to run. Right there, 34, you can't not make that block. You've got to, and you see him with his hands up. No, that's on you. Dylan, you've got to make that block. Be aggressive. Run through the defender. Don't allow the defender to run through you.
3rd down and 5 for Elon. Elon looking for some offensive efficiency. 3rd and 5. Flips it out to Thomas. Thomas going to pick up the first down.
Clark's pass to T.J.
Gain of 7. Needed 5, and Trey Freeman missed what could have been the first down saving tackle.
And a good job by the offensive line, giving Landon Clark the time that he needed to find his receiver Thomas on the outside. Thomas with that make you miss ability once again, able to put him in a position to get that first down and extend this drive.
First down and 10 now for Elon. William Langford in motion. Clark over the middle, caught by Langford.
Pass is completed.
Caleb Weaver with the stop, gain of 6. What's Elon doing so well offensively now?
They're being efficient on 1st and 2nd down. They're getting 3 and 4 yards a pop, not putting their quarterback in a bad position to try and have to get it all on 3rd down. When you do that, now you open up the playbook.
Jamel Williams now in at tailback for Elon. 3 receivers set, all to the top of your screen. Williams navigating his way to that tough defensive front. Preston Watson, the sophomore, with the stop in his 2nd season, gained a pair.
And now you're seeing this Elon offensive line getting pushed at the point of attack. And that is because they've been able to get positive yards, and now you put the Duke defense on its heels a little bit. You've got those guys thinking a little bit more so than just being uber aggressive and getting up the field.
9th play of the drive, a drive that started at their own 25-yard line. Williams again in the backfield. Clark to the 15 and a first down. Jaden Francois finally stopped him, not before a gain of 6. Clark really slithered his way through that.
And I'm impressed with what Clark did on that play. They brought 9 up on the line of scrimmage. Clark took his time. He looked and saw where the pressure was coming from. He saw where he would have a lane and understood hanging the ball off would have not been successful. He kept it on his own, found a crease, and got the first down.
Thomas now back in. He's in the slot. 1st down and 10. Now Thomas to the left of Landon Clark. Thomas has it. He's quick. He's elusive. He's inside the 10. Aaron Hall, one of the captains, made the tackle after a gain of 5.
And you talked about it, Matt. 10th play of the drive. Now you're starting to see some of that attrition, some of that, conditioning come into play. When you've got an aggressive defense that's getting up the field constantly, now you've got them moving sideline to sideline, using your speed to get to the outside.
E.J. Thomas Jr., who got injured on the first play of the game against Hampton last year. Missed the rest of the season. Now he's back and stymied there by Trey Freeman. First time in a while we've seen Thomas go backwards.
And Dylan Magazoo, I don't want to pick on you, but you've got to make that block again. 34, you've got to do a better job of making the block on the outside. For the second time, you've got an opportunity to make a key block for your back to get to the edge. If he makes that block, Thomas is able to plant that foot and get north and south.
Thomas, you saw him on a knee there on the sidelines. He's out. Jamel Williams is in. And a timeout. Tony Trisciani wants a timeout here on this big 3rd down and 8.
Timeout. Elon.
Looking to tie it up or more here at the home of the Duke Blue Devils. Matchstick Forrest Connolly, we talked about the quarterbacks in the open. How would you assess their performances?
Well, I think Landon Clark is doing a good job of moving the ball with his feet. He's made some good decisions as the game has progressed. Darian Mintz is starting to get a feel for his receivers and starting to find that cohesion that they talked about. New quarterback, new receivers, new system. You see that starting to develop.
A couple of drops that certainly hurt Mensah here tonight. Should have a touchdown to his name. Clark nearly picked off. Batted by Aaron Hall. And they'll bring on the field goal unit.
That was a dangerous play right there, throwing in the coverage. There was a lot of coverage on that side of the field. You've got 3 receivers. You saw where he wanted to go with the football, but it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if Magazoo would have been able to make a great play, but Aaron Hall did a good job of getting his hands up and tipping that football, something defenders are taught to do when you're running towards the quarterback. If you can't get to him, get your hands up in the air and knock the ball down.
Luke Barnes with a 30-yard attempt. Was a kickoff guy in high school. Never kicked a field goal in high school, but has a strong leg. A sophomore and a flag. Delay a game. Or a timeout.
Delay a game. Offense, number 97. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Cannot let that happen on a field goal attempt. Shiani trying to calm him down. Loves his specialists. Luke Barnes now, who's former high school, won a state title last year. The Grimsley Whirlies will now kick it from 35. Out of Greensboro, North Carolina, trying to tie this one up here in the second quarter. And he does. Right down the middle, and Elon has tied it up with the Blue Devils here in the season opener.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
A 13-play, 53-yard drive took more than 6.5 minutes. 35-yard field goal. We are tied. Darian Mensah is going to get another shot here. What have you seen for us, Connolly?
Well, he does a good job of keeping his eyes down the field. I thought when they sprinted him outside the pocket is where he's been most successful, getting the ball to his playmakers. You see right here again, putting the ball right on his receiver. Then he does a good job of sitting and allowing his receiver to find an open spot in the zone and delivering the strike. And here, the quick hitter to the outside, give your ball to your playmaker in space and allow him to be great. They've got to continue to put Mensah in a position to be comfortable as he continues to develop that coordination with his receivers.
Tied at 3. Let's go on the field with McKellen.
Yeah, guys, I was watching the bench during that Elon drive. The majority of the offense did not look rattled. They just sat there watching Elon do its thing, but it was Mensah on the edge of the bench, just on the iPad, looking over the plays from the game. It made me think of what offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer told us just a couple nights ago. Mensah took it upon himself to come to the empty stadium and go through every single play call, guys.
Yeah, he had an assistant there, young assistant coach, helping him out, going through reads, going through audibles and calls, basically the whole script.
And it's got to be some nerves for Mensah, too. This is his first game here at the program. He's the biggest, portal guy, portal signee for Duke. There's been a lot said about him coming here and a lot of expectations.
Nate Shepard in the flat, big gain. Nate Shepard out of Louisiana, gain of 20 for the first down.
And a good job. Once again, you get Mensah outside of the pocket, getting the ball to a playmaker, and you see Shepard able to make plays in the open field. That's how you help your quarterback. Get him easy passes, get positive plays.
The true freshman Nate Shepard with his first collegiate catch. First down and 10 at the 45. Mensah. Plenty of time. Has his man on the near side, Samir Hagans, his third catch of the night.
Mensah's pass is complete to number 2, Samir Hagans.
Gain of 21 here. Look at the vision and the pocket presence.
Well, Mensah has all the time to where you see that offensive line doing a good job protecting, giving Mensah all the time he needed to look down the field and go through his progressions.
Nate Shepard again, the true freshman, picks up a few.
And off to number 20, Nate Shepard.
Call it two. Kamari Brown, who had an outstanding freshman season a year ago as a freshman All-American, makes the stop for Elon.
And this continues to be the big concern for this Duke offense, establishing a running attack. In order for them to be successful this season, they've got to do a better job of establishing the run.
Jaquez Moore now in the backfield. Second down and 8. Moore, nice cutback, gets a block, gets another block. He's got some room, he's got green, he's got touchdown.
Number 9, Jaquez Moore. Scampers in either end zone.
For the second straight year, Jaquez Moore has the first touchdown of the season for Duke against Elon.
And you see the outside zone, but you see Moore's ability to cut it back across the field. And a good job by Barkay getting in the way of the last defender to be able to try and get hands on him on the outside. And you saw the speed by Moore. Once he got into the open field, nobody was going to catch him.
4 plays, 75 yards, a minute 49. Point after from Polino is good. And Duke, just like that, has retaken the lead.
And we've talked about it. The rushing attack needed to get going, and Moore gets it going with that touchdown. How excited is that offensive line now?
Jaquez Moore, his 13th career rushing touchdown, and he does it in back-to-back season openers. They wanted to get the offense going. They finally did, Forrest.
Well, it was a mix of pass and run. I thought they did a good job of putting their quarterback in a position to be successful. And the offensive line, they were able to get out on that zone running play, get to the edge, and you saw the ability of Moore to cut it back across the formation and beat the defender to the outside with some help from Barkay, just getting in the way to score that touchdown.
Here's a look at that last drive.
You see here the quick pass to the outside. Get the ball to your playmaker. Allow him to make a play for you. Use his feet, use his speed. And then here you get the ball out to Higgins, another playmaker on the outside. And here's the handoff. You see the speed zone, the outside zone, and he cuts it back. And Barkay right there. Just get enough of your body in front of the defender where he cannot make a play on your teammate so he can get to the end zone for the touchdown.
Jacquez Moore with the touchdown. Again, had multiple injuries last season. Thought last year would be his last year. And then it wasn't. And he had to watch his team have success without him. Now he's back and off to a great start. Landon Clark with a handoff. It's Camille Williams. Head of steam to the 40 near midfield. Tackled out of bounds. Just at the last minute after a gain of 28. Kobe Smith with the stop.
And a good job by the offensive line getting a hat on a hat and missed tackles by Duke. You had 2 missed tackles right at the point of attack where he's able to plant that foot and get north and south. A slippery run by Jamil Williams to get up the field and get positive yards. Just what Elon needed.
That's what we see in those season openers, those missed tackles. 7.5 to go, midway through this second quarter. Clark, design run. Stopped by Jaden Francois, gain of 3.
And I like that play. We're being efficient once again on 1st and 2nd down. Positive yards. You don't have to get it all, but get positive yards. Make that defense once again. Think about Landon Clark and that quarterback sneak.
Landon Clark showing his mobility. Doug Martin, the offensive coordinator, was just hired in December, says he is going to have to make plays with his legs, and that's where he's done most of his damage. Clark up top has his man caught. Zymir Winston inside the 15.
And what I love about that play is the trust. Before Winston broke, the ball is in the air. When he looks up, the ball is right there on him. A good job of adjusting. And you saw what Clark did. He threw the football before Winston broke, which did not allow the safety to get over the top. Great play by Clark and Zymir Winston.
Gain of 29 on the play. 1st down and 10. Clark, little option. Near the 10-yard line. Preston Watson on the stop. Gain of 4. Another positive down there for Elon. What are they doing so effectively?
They're making good decisions. They're calling plays that are going to result in positive yardage. They're not trying to get it all, but they're making Duke think now, and they're using Duke's speed against them.
Clark, 5 of 7. His first 5 collegiate pass completions, but 11 carries for 30 yards. Following the blueprint of success for the Phoenix. Another design run.
And you know what, Matt? That 11 carries for 30 yards is deceptive because he's got more yards, but because of the sacks, it doesn't look like a lot. So that's not as positive as it really has been with him rushing the football.
3rd down now for Elon. Now, Doug Martin, the offensive coordinator, told us before the game how fast he settles down will dictate how he's going to play. Well, he settled down very quickly. He was under duress from the jump, but they have navigated that. Those design runs have helped. 3rd and 4. Clark has some room to run. Clark inside the 5, 1st and goal.
And what I like about that play, Clark waited. He waited. He didn't see anything open. He wanted to go down the field with the football, but he did not try and force it anywhere. Once all of the pressure got up the field, he was able to know where the sticks were. You saw him looking to make sure he got past the sticks to get the 1st down. And when you're an offensive lineman or a receiver or a running back and you see your quarterback give his body up like that, that kind of energizes you to do more as well. You see Clark right now going to the sideline. They're buckling up his helmet a little bit. He's trying to probably shake some of the cobwebs off. But as an offensive player, I'm going to get fired up when my quarterback steps up in the pocket like that and runs the football and gives it up for the team.
Landon Clark had 4 rushes last season. And he is taking the team on his shoulders. Watch this hit. Oof.
And, you know, you've got to look, that could be considered targeting. He got hit in the helmet to helmet on that play. It's interesting if they look at Kendall Johnson, number 42.
Landon Clark had that slow start with those 3 sacks, but since then, the offensive line holding up, moving the pocket, moving the launch point, just like they had hoped. And keeping the defense honest with those rush yards. 7th play of the drive for Landon Clark and Elon. Jamel Williams in the backfield. Williams with the carry, trying to find the edge. Bounces off a tackler. Stopped by Deshaun Stone. Jaden Francois hit on the stop as well. 2nd and goal. Gain of 2.
You see what Elon's trying to do. They're trying to get to the edges. They feel like they have more of an advantage if they're able to get to the outside because of the up the field pressure that they're seeing from these Duke defenders. Because these defensive ends are pinning their ears back and coming up towards the field, they're trying to get to the edge. They've just got to beat those safeties in one-on-one on the edge.
Less than 4 minutes to go. 2nd and goal. Walker eludes the tackler, throws it out of bounds. Trey Freeman was in on him. Slide stepped, avoided the sack. 3rd and goal.
And I don't know if I like that play, man. I think you go back to the misdirection, use their speed, Duke's speed and aggressiveness against them. You see everyone getting up the field. A good job by Clark to avoid the pass rush and not give up the sack. Trey Freeman was right on top of him. But I think you have a safer bet trying to run the football. If you've been running it effectively getting to this point, why not stick with that run?
Forrest, is this 4-down territory?
No, I think you got to get points if you don't get the touchdown.
How about the touchdown? How about Landon Clark with his first collegiate touchdown? We're a point away from having this one tied up here in Durham.
And what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Landon Clark running the football, making good decisions. He's been gashing this defense right down the gut. Basically untouched into the end zone. Because of their success running the football, all defenders go with the ball fake. He does a good job at the mesh point of reading the defenders, pulling the ball out, and going right up the gut of that defense.
9 plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. And a delay of game on the point after try.
And Coach Trisciani told us this is a tough kid.
Delay of game. Offense, number 91. 5-yard penalty, attempt for try.
Welcome to the wall. We deliver. He certainly has. Landon Clark. They said they couldn't wait to watch him play. I think they undersold him.
Yes. Well, he's what you call a gamer.
With Barnes the point after, and we are tied in Durham. By the way, that was the first, just the 2nd touchdown, 2nd offensive touchdown for Elon against the FBS in the last couple of seasons.
And it was a very special drive. We saw a little bit of everything on that drive. We saw a big run by the running back. We saw some slipperiness. We saw some missed tackles by the Duke defense. You have to wonder, is conditioning starting to play a role? These have been sustained drives on both scoring drives. This drive is 9 plays. I think the last scoring drive was 12 or 13 plays. So you're keeping that defense on the field. And when you've got an uber-aggressive defense and they have to play all of those plays, you've got misdirection going here, going there. You know, you've got those guys on their heels now from the Duke defense. And you're building confidence on this Elon offensive side of the football.
Barnes with the kick this one away. And received at the goal line by Peyton Jones. Jones closing in on the 25-yard line. Let's go to McKellen.
Landon Clark just came off the field, and let me tell you, this offense is fired up. They got the entire offense over here taking pictures, and they're saying, let's do this. If we can answer scores, we are in this thing. Let me tell you, offensive coordinator Doug Martin and their head coach was telling us they've got a lot of hungry kids on this lineup. Well, Landon Clark is starving.
Thank you, McKellen. Yeah. Said he makes everyone around him better. And that's a scary notion here if you're a CAA member and you're watching this one tonight. Tied at 10. 3.5 to go here in Durham in the season opener. Out of the flat to Anderson Castle.
Fence's pass is complete to number 4.
Of about 5. Important drive here for Duke to end the half.
Gain of 5.
And what'll be interesting to see how Mensah responds. There's pressure on him now. Can he get a score before the half? This is that 2-minute offense that they practice every day at the end of practice.
Second down and 5 for Mensah. Good protection. Mensah heaves it. Got a man down there, and then near side is caught. Quayshawn Brown. They call him Q. 44 on the reception.
And Mensah saw press man on the outside. He saw he had his slot receiver with man coverage, and he was able to get the ball down the field. Darren James Hamilton, you have to do a better job of locating the football, but an awesome job by Quayshawn Brown to adjust to that ball, twist his body around, contort himself, and squeeze the football.
First down and 10 at the 26. Mensah has to throw it away. Kamari Brown, a freshman All-American from a season ago, has made his presence known a couple of times here tonight in his sophomore year.
And a smart play by Mensah. If it's not there as it was drawn up, just get rid of the football, live to play another down. You don't want to do anything dangerous. Put the ball in position, get knocked up in the air, and possibly create a turnover.
Defensive coordinator Casey Vance says Kamari Brown has to be a problem. He was on that play. Mensah 13 of 20, 193 yards. Mensah over the middle. Brown again. Right on cue. First and 10, gain of 9.
And a good job by the offensive line selling at that being a run play. You saw the play action. Mensah pulled the ball out. He saw what he wanted. With his receiver coming across on a short crossing route, getting the ball to Quayshawn Brown.
2-minute timeout. Tied at 10. Duke will try to take the lead next.
better setting.
Go get him, LC! Cannot wait for that Saturday morning. Going to be a show to remember. Out of the 2-minute timeout. Ball on the ground. Recovered by Elon. The Phoenix were right there on the exchange. Ball hit the turf, and Dylan Pardue says, "How do you do?" The junior from Clayton, North Carolina, with the fumble recovery.
In immediate contact, as soon as Moore gets the football, he puts a helmet on the ball, exactly how it's taught Brody Carroll. A good job of getting hat placement right on that football, knocking the ball out. And you see the Elon defenders diving on that football. Look how fired up this team is right now. And that's pivotal, Matt, because Duke was going to get the ball coming out the second half. So if they allowed Duke to score there, it could have put them up 2 scores.
Yeah, at this point, you're Elon. He might not want to get too greedy here. Just get into the locker room tied at 10. Aaron Hall with the stop there. My goodness, Brody Carroll on that hit. You can see more talking to Mensa about what went wrong on that play. But Brody Carroll played at Shepherd University, Division II school in Pennsylvania. Was the conference freshman of the year in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Had a couple of sacks, and what a hit.
Well, you see right there, he goes unblocked, and he does a good job of getting his hat and shoulder pad on the football. And then you see the Elon defenders dive on the ball. So that's a missed assignment by the Duke offensive line, a veteran Duke offensive line. They've got to pick up that linebacker. They've got to recognize that blitz and pick that linebacker up.
2nd down and 14 for Elon. Remember, Duke will receive the second half kickoff. Thomas, 88-yard. Trey Freeman on the stop. If you're Duke, you consider using a timeout here?
I think you wait right here. You know you're going to get the ball coming out in the second half. Right now, they just don't seem to be in any type of offensive rhythm. So I think right now, Coach Diaz is thinking, let's just get to the half. Let's regroup. Let's see what we're doing well. Let's work on that and try and correct what we have not done well this evening. But the irony in this is last year, remember, Elon was going in for a score to tie the game in a big play. Now you've got a big play on the other side.
Thomas on the carry. Now we'll see if they use that timeout. And they do. Nick Morris Jr. and a host of Blue Devils making the stop for us. And now Duke will get the ball back with a minute to go.
Now, does Duke go for the block? They were pretty close to blocking a punt early in the ball game in the first quarter. Do they bring pressure right now on the punter and try and get a block?
Quayshawn Brown is going to be back to return with his toes at the 40-yard line. And remember, this is Jeff Yerk, preseason all-conference punter, 3rd in all of college football in punting average last season. Nearly 48 yards a kick, has a long of 72. They could use one of those here. Oh, it's off his fingertips and blocked. Bounces at the 35. Nate Shepard, it appeared, got a fingertip on it. After the bad snap, trouble with the snap by Yerk. Wow.
And they did not come after the ball. It was a good snap. He just dropped the football.
The punt goes 22 yards. Call that the announcer jinx, talking about how he's booted one for 72. He went 50 shy of that after mishandling the snap. And now, exactly what you did not want to have happen. Elon got the ball with about a minute and a half to go. Minute 40 to go after that turnover. Went backwards. And punted it right back.
But you know what, Matt? You have to wonder if his nerves were bad from that earlier almost blocked punt. and he was thinking about that, and that's why he mishandled that football.
Quayshawn Brown in motion. Mensa, look out from behind. Dylan Pardue, who had the fumble recovery on the last possession, gets a sack to start this one. Loss of 8. 30 seconds to go. 1 timeout. Actually, no timeouts for Duke. Here's Mensa. Inbounds. Anderson Castle makes the catch, and they've got to hurry.
And that previous sack was good coverage down the field. That was a coverage sack. Mensa had nowhere to go at the football.
Gain of 4. Here's Mensa on 3rd and 15. 8 seconds to go. Mensa inbounds, and that'll do it for the half.
Mensa's pass is complete to number 7,
Quayshawn Brown on the reception and a very disjointed finish to the first half of play. Elon in a rare position here. The first time that they have not trailed at the half against an FBS team.
And Elon looks like a team that's come in expecting to win this football game, and Duke looks like a team right now trying to find itself with all of the expectations, Matt. Now they're in a position where they've got to go in at halftime and regroup and figure some things out, because you've got a confident Elon ball club right now that feels like they can come out of here with this big win. This is setting up to be a great second half of football. I can't wait.
It was 10-0 at the half last year. Elon says, not so fast.
Welcome into this ACC Network Halftime Report. Hope you enjoyed the first half. We're laughing here because week one is here. We're talking some ball alongside former Wake Forest head coach Dave Clawson and former Stanford star running back Bryce Love. I'm Justin Walters. Let's play a quick game. Marquee matchups here in week one, Coach. Miami beats Notre Dame if what?
If the Miami defense can get the Notre Dame offense off the field. Notre Dame is starting a redshirt freshman quarterback, C.J. Carr, first start ever. They cannot allow Notre Dame to consistently run the ball, control the clock. They've got to get them in 3rd and long. They've got to create turnovers, and they got to find ways to get off the football field and get the ball back to that explosive offense they have.
Hey, well, to piggyback off what Coach just said, bringing in Corey Heatherman from Minnesota. He's known for the 4-2-5 scheme out there, heavy pressure, heavy aggression in terms of generating pocket blitzes and not letting the quarterback get comfortable. And that's the key to victory ultimately. They're starting a freshman back there, can't let his feet get set and comfortable in his decision making. And ultimately that'll pay off in the long run.
I love how both of you went defense. No mention of Carson Beck. So, Coach, what's your assessment of him now that he's there at Miami? Expectations in year one.
I mean, I really think Carson Beck is going to have a good season. Shannon Dawson last year, the offensive coordinator at Miami, did such a great job with, I call, a plug-and-play quarterback. You have a guy for 1 year. You got to design the offensive scheme around him. And the job that he did with Cam Ward last year led to Cam Ward arguably being the best player in all of college football and the #1 pick in the NFL draft. And so I think Carson Beck is going to have a really good season for Miami. I think the offense will look different. He's a taller, more of a pro-style quarterback. But I think the Miami offense is going to be in great shape this year.
I'm just excited to see both of these teams playing for the first time in nearly a decade, a rivalry renewed. Yeah. A lot of great games. Next up, Chapel Hill, Chapel Bill, whatever you want to call it. The debut of Bill Belichick. UNC beats TCU if what, Bryce?
Well, UNC wins if the Rude Boys come to play. For all my people who are from North Carolina or went to North Carolina, you know who the Rude Boys are. That's their defensive backs in secondary. So TCU, they're coming in with Josh Hoover again this year, a high-powered passing offense. Ultimately, they'll want to generate, stops. They need to be there to turn over the ball when the ball gets in the air and have aggression in the run game as well.
Coach, what's your key to victory here?
Well, at North Carolina, I'm really curious of what do they do on offense. They brought in Gio Lopez, who is a very highly coveted quarterback out of the portal in the spring. And again, a lot of people wanted this young man, but a dual threat quarterback, what is their offensive identity? How much of the offense are they able to get in? He was not there in the spring. So everything they've done with him has been in fall camp. And what is going to be their offensive identity and how quickly can they get him into a rhythm?
There are going to be so many eyeballs on the Tar Heels this season because of Coach Belichick. Over or under 8 wins?
I have them over, and I think this week is critical, though. If they can get TCU and get that one in the books, their schedule is very favorable. Of all the ACC contenders or people that are picked to win the league, the only one of those teams that they're going to play is Clemson. And so if they can get off to a good start, beat TCU, I think they have a great chance to have an 8 or even a 9-win season.
Whew, are you going that high?
I might not go that high, but I will say, if anybody can do it, it's going to be Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Again, we're talking about the GOAT of coaching at the professional level. How that's going to translate to UNC, we've yet to see. But if anybody can do it, it's going to be him.
Let's shift gears now to the battle for the real Death Valley between Clemson and LSU. The Tigers beat the Tigers if.
I think this game, the key is who can make the most explosive plays. For Clemson on offense, the talk is all about this is the best skill level they've had in probably a decade. You know, you have Antonio Williams back, you have Bryant Westco, you have Cade Klubnik back. They need to be able to make explosive plays, but then if you switch it on the other side of the ball, ton of talent on defense. Peter Woods, TJ Parker, but they have a brand new defensive coordinator. And this is the first game that Tom Allen, as established as he is, has ever called for Clemson. So can they get a line, can they assign, and can they not give up big plays?
Bryce, where are you going on this one?
There's a theme going on clearly with defense. Obviously, my coach used to always say you got to bring your defense on the road to be able to compete and win these big games. LSU, they lost 4 starters this past year on the offensive line, mainly Will Campbell, the superstar tackle over there. They have to deal with TJ Parker and Peter Woods coming to town. What is that going to look like? How are they going to scheme for that? How are they going to prepare? Tom Allen, he moves them, or he's planning at least to move them all across the line and be able to disrupt the passer. So we'll have to wait and see.
Bryce, you've played in games of this magnitude with a lot of eyeballs. What is something you want to see from Clemson, at least early on in this game?
Well, I want to see them establish a rhythm. With Cade Klubnik, one of the big things this past year that caused a little bit of hesitation in his evaluation is there was a lack of consistency at times. Of course, him being able to get the easy pass early, getting able to lean on the run game, the things that they do really well, is going to be beneficial to him in establishing that rhythm long term.
All right, let's put a bow on this game. This will be a successful weekend for the ACC if what, Bryce?
The QBs come to dominate. So I love, quarterback play has been the theme of the conference. We're the conference of QBs this year. And there's so many talented and skilled players at that position that if they come out to play, we'll be competitive in every game.
How about you, Coach?
I think this is a huge weekend for the ACC to kind of change the narrative. There's 7 games against Power 4 teams. We have 4 matchups against the SEC, 2 against the Big 12, and 1 against Notre Dame. If we can come out of this weekend, the ACC can come out with a winning record, 4-3, that starts changing the narrative a little bit. And as much as a coach is 1-0, 1-0, we know that this is going to be a conversation piece that comes up in November. And these are the schools and the leagues we're battling against to get that at-large bid come November and December.
I appreciate you being on this side of the table and being honest, because if I caught you at Wake Forest interviewing you, you wouldn't be saying that, Coach.
1-0, baby, 1-0. I don't even know who we play. So.
Well, a lot to discuss. Week 1 is off and running. Make sure that you lock in weekdays at 6 p.m., Monday through Thursday, 4 ACC p.m. On Fridays, it's a 2-hour special at 5 p.m. The best place to get caught up on everything and anything ACC. Second half starts your way shortly.
Duke and Jaquez Moore. They need more of that. He got the touchdown, his 13th career rushing touchdown. He's back and healthy. That gave Duke the lead. More great action coming up in the ACC. Georgia Tech and Colorado. Syracuse and Tennessee in a battle of orange-colored jerseys. Florida State looking for a reclamation project and a rebound after last year in LSU and Clemson. The ACC owning Labor Day again. The only league playing 5 straight days, Thursday through Monday. We see Sunday, Virginia Tech and South Carolina. Notre Dame against Carson Beck and Miami, and TCU and North Carolina and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's coaching debut on Labor Day Monday, the 16th consecutive Labor Day game for the ACC. Well, Moore gave him the lead, and then it was Landon Clark who tied it back up. We got a great look in Durham. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Here at halftime, Elon, the Phoenix rising to the challenge, tied at 10 with Duke. Matt Schick Forrest Connolly, this is the first time, Forrest, ever that Elon has been tied at the half with an FBS opponent. How'd they do it?
They are doing great right now. This is everything Coach Trisciani and his staff could hope for. His ball club is coming to play. And I said it earlier, Matt, I don't think these young kids feel like or think that they're supposed to lose this football game. They came in with a confidence that they are going to win. And Landon Clark is as advertised. They talked to us about his, ability to run the football and make good decisions. And as a young quarterback, he has shown very well in this ball game.
He has been terrific, had the rushing touchdown. It's really been with his legs. He's made enough passes, but it's been his legs. We saw the missed field goal in the start of the game. It could have been 3-0, but Todd Polino pushes it wide right, and then a drop touchdown by Peyton Jones.
You can see right here the cutback by Jaquez Moore, back across the defense. Good job by Barcade to get in the way. But then here comes that guy Clark again with the quarterback draw to tie the score up, and the confidence continues to build for this Elon football team.
And you look at the first half stats, again, tied at 10. Duke outgaining them, but it's Elon getting it done on the ground. Remember last year, Duke had a tough time on the ground against Elon with fewer than 60 rushing yards. Let's go down to the field with Michaela Chester.
Thanks, guys. I was able to check in with the Duke staff at halftime on what the message was. It really wasn't anything too technical. The main themes were just about calming the nerves, settling in. They said, look, guys, we've played an entire half of football. Let's go out there and play the game we know.
Well, let's see if they can do just that. They will receive the second half kickoff. Mentioned Elon. You saw those Duke rushing numbers, Forrest. Duke was held to 59 yards rushing last year against these Phoenix.
Well, you think about this, Matt. They've got 34 total rushing yards. 32 of them came on that touchdown that Jaquez Moore scored.
Peyton Jones is stuffed at around the 15-yard line by Carter White. All right, give us the scouting report. How did Darian Mensah do in that first half?
I thought Darian Mensah did as advertised. His, receiver didn't help him. Peyton Jones dropping what would have been about a 40-yard touchdown. But I think you've got to take some pressure off of Mensah. You've got to get the run game established. But he's done exactly what I thought he would be able to do. He's continuing to develop that cohesiveness with his receivers, and that'll come the more they play with each other against live action.
Manny Diaz says he's got that humble confidence, a demeanor where you just want the ball in his hands. Well, he's got it here to start the second half. And off, nice move by Moore, but tripped up. Gathered there by Dylan Pardue, who had the ankle for a gain of 1.
But you see, once again, I think what's happening, you see the running back get the ball, and he's having to dance in the backfield. He can't get going downhill because of the run pressure that this defense is getting up the field against the Duke offensive line.
Mensah steps up in the pocket and brought down. Paris Lowry in his 5th season with Elon, their second sack of the night.
And a good job on the back end of that defense, covering up everything. You've got 5 against 5. Duke should be able to block that up. I thought Mensah stepped up in the pocket, but he didn't necessarily have to on that play. He had a pocket to stand right there and deliver the football. Loss
of 3. Darian Mensah. 3rd down and 12. Mensah has his man. That's Barkay. Cooper Barkay. Gain of 17.
And you see what they did right there. Elon went to a cover zone right there. They only rushed through. They dropped 8 back into coverage. They wanted to keep everything in front of them, but you've got to make the tackle.
Down the far sideline, he's got him again. The former FCS All-American with the big gain down the right side. He dropped the ball in the first half. He's sure-handed here.
And you see right there, you've got a safety trying to cover Cooper Barkay. That is the matchup they're going to look for. Any time that Mensah sees that matchup, he's going to go to it. That's his speed receiver on the outside.
Gain of 46. Throws it out to Wayshawn Brown for a gain of a couple. Ishmael Atkins on the stop.
That's an extremely dangerous coverage when you've got the DB out there coming inside and you've got a safety that has to get across the field and you've got a speed receiver like Barkley. So a good job by Mensah recognizing that. And we talked about that earlier. His ability to recognize and decipher defenses pre-snap.
2nd down and 6. Mensah voted as a team captain just last week. Mensah to Barkay. Barkay with a few receptions here on this drive. And it'll be 1st down and goal for the Duke Blue Devils, gain of 10.
And Mensah seems to be more comfortable getting outside the pocket, allowing him the time that he needs to locate his receiver. You see Barkay, he's able to beat the defensive back to the inside.
Whistle, and they've been too quick there on offense.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
1st and goal at the 13-yard line now for Duke. Manny Diaz, enjoyed our conversation with him, just so confident about what he's got going here at Duke. Loves the cut of the jib of every player, and said Mensah just fit right in with the old chip on the old shoulder. Under-recruited, low on the depth chart at his previous school to start out. Became the starter. High caliber transfer and leading Duke down the field. Mensah holds on to it. Taken down. Kamari Brown, the first man in, last year's freshman All-American.
And there was some indecisiveness on that play. You watched the mesh point with Anderson Castle right here. Mensah decided late to pull the ball out. Too much pressure. He's trying to read what the defense is doing. They did a good job of making him think on that play.
Loss of 2 for Duke. 2nd down and goal. This Elon defense has risen to the occasion. Mensah throws it up, end zone, touchdown! Samir Higgins, and Mensah with his first touchdown pass as a Blue Devil.
And this is strictly recognition, knowing where he can go with the football, knowing where the pressure's coming from, and getting the ball out where only his receiver can make a play on it. And a good job by Higgins making the adjustment, turning his body to the outside, squeezing the football and staying in bounds and holding the ball close to his body, not allowing the ball to get away from him.
8 plays, 83 yards, lasted nearly 4 minutes, and what a drive to start this 2nd half. Capped off with a 15-yard touchdown pass from Mensah to Higgins. Polino puts it through. We were tied at the half, and that didn't last long, Forrest.
And Mensah did a good job of putting that ball out there, and Higgins did a better job of adjusting to it, squeezing it, getting it to his body, and getting the touchdown for the Blue Devils.
check Forrest Connolly. Something to cheer about tonight for the Duke Blue Devils. Tied at 10 at the half with Elon, and Darian Mensah hit Samir Hagans to cap an 8-play, 83-yard, 4-minute drive. And it was a huge play on that drive. 3rd down and extremely long, and they were able to convert. TJ Thomas going to return. Head of steam. Boy, he can cut. Boy, he can run. Crossing the 40 near midfield. 45-yard return. Todd Polino, the kicker, was able to push him out of bounds. But what a drive by Mensah.
And this was the Cooper Barcade drive, but I thought this was the biggest play of the drive. 3rd and 20. He got it with 18 yards, was able to get to the inside, and Barcade again getting beyond the safety who tried to come over and cover him. And Barcade again finding an open space, being there for his quarterback. And then at the end of the drive, of course, Hagans making the adjustment. Mensah understanding where to go with the football, knowing where the pressure was coming from and where he had man coverage on the outside.
Mensah more than 300 yards passing tonight. There's that defensive front as TJ Thomas bottled up. Aaron Hall was in on the stop, loss of 1. 21-28, 308 yards and a touchdown for Mensah. Landon Clark in the first half really got it done on the ground, out rushing Duke by himself. The mobility at the quarterback spot for Elon. Last couple of seasons, Matthew Downing was a mobile quarterback, but nothing like Landon Clark, who's a redshirt freshman, had not had a completed pass until tonight. TJ Thomas stopped behind the line. Chandler Rivers, the all-everything cornerback, with the loss of 4.
And the way you slow down an aggressive pass rush is you cut all of the defensive linemen. You see all of those cut blocks by the offensive lineman for Elon. It may not have taken effect on that play, but they'll start to think about that as the game progresses. So that's how you slow down that pass rush, but a good job by the outside defenders making that tackle.
3rd down and 16 for Elon. Blitz coming. Throws it up. Out of bounds. They were behind the sticks from the jump, Forrest, and that's going to be tough against this Duke defense.
Absolutely, because now you've got guys pinning their ears back, coming after the quarterback. Not how you wanted to start the second half. You gave up a touchdown.
5th punt of the game. Sorry, Forrest. Here for Jeff Yerk. Remember, Jeff Yerk at the end of the half botched the snap, mishandled it, had a bad punt of just 22 yards. And Duke was unable to capitalize on it. We went into the locker room tied at 10. All-American from last year. This is more like it. That is why he is one of the best in the country. Nowhere to go for Quayshawn Brown. Punt of 53 yards with a return of 4. Duke will try to add to their lead coming up.
Fantasy Lake, go watch the jump.
Well, Duke had Lake Day at Fantasy Lake Adventure Park. 65 acres of fun. You get to swim in the quarry. Players swapped helmets for life jackets, scuba diving, sliding, bouncing around the inflatable water park. Great stuff before week 1. That's a fun place. That is an absolute fun place. That was on August 16th. Fantasy Lake Adventure. You jump on the Wibbits, you climb up there, you jump off the cliff. Took the family there last summer. Mensah on 1st and 10. And out of bounds, loss of 1 on the catch by Jaden Moore. His 3rd catch of the night for the redshirt freshman. Now, Darian Mensah in the midst of his 4th career 300-yard passing game. A pretty quiet 300 yards.
Very uneventful.
Not even midway through this 3rd quarter. Adding to it. Nice cut back there by Andrell Anthony. The former Michigan Wolverine and Oklahoma Sooner. Another first down. Anthony picks up 16.
And a good job by the wide receiver on the outside. Once he gets the football, able to stop and go. You see that ability, and that's some of the things that the coaching staff talked about that they saw in camp from these 2 receivers, from Andrell Anthony coming in, as well as from Cooper Barkay, who's had some big catches throughout this evening.
What a cut back there. That's Peyton Jones. Peyton Jones, who dropped that touchdown in one of the first half drives. Showing his cutback ability. How about Barkay? His 9th 100-yard game. 4 for a $103. 8 different receivers have caught a pass tonight from Darian Mensah. Jones again, first down.
And Mensah is as advertised. And we talked about the 300 yards. There haven't been a whole bunch of splash plays, but he's done a good job, like you just said, of spreading the ball around to all of his receivers. And I think as he continues to develop that cohesiveness, knows where his guys are as they continue to work against live action, it shows you the potential of this offense passing the football. One of the things I want to see is, can they develop more of a rushing attack as this game progresses?
Nate Shepard back in the game, the freshman. That running back. They hand off to Shepard. Mensah looking deep to the near side. Caught. Landon King, the tight end. A childhood buddy of Chandler Rivers. Former Auburn Tiger. It was Manny Diaz who saw him catch a ball for the Tigers against his then Penn State Nittany Lions when he was the DC. Liked him in the portal. 9th different receiver to catch a pass. As Nate Shepard is stymied.
Nate Shepard goes around the right end.
And on that play, Brody Carroll again flashed. He had an opportunity to make a tackle in the backfield. That's something the Duke offensive line has to do a better job of, picking up these downhill linebackers. The linebackers from Elon have made several plays getting downhill, getting in the backfield once they recognize the run.
2nd down and 9 for Darian Mensah and Duke. Barkay again. Over 110, over 115 yards receiving tonight. Brody Carroll missed the tackle. Cooper Barkay, elusive.
And he's been really impressive after the catch to me. You see him breaking the tackle by Brody Carroll and then getting up the field. He's taking some shots, but he keeps getting up. You see him right now coming off the field. But he's done a good job helping his quarterback out this afternoon.
The transfer from Harvard, graduated in 3 years. There's a couple to play. Mensah deep down the middle of the field. Anthony, touchdown! .27 yards on the strike. Anthony on his 3rd different team scores the 3rd touchdown of the night for Duke.
And you can call this the portal drive. Mensah to Barkay, Mensah to Anthony, Mensah to King. He's gotten the ball down the field to his playmakers. You see right there on the skinny post, to Andrell Anthony for the touchdown. He puts the ball where only Anthony can make a play on it.
How about a career-high 383 yards for Darian Mensah on 26 completions?
And we're just halfway through the 3rd quarter.
tied at 10 at the half. Duke with 13 straight points. Make it 14. Mensah to Anthony. They wanted some big playability, and they got it, Andrell Anthony. 8 plays, 88 yards, 3.5 minutes, all Duke here in the third. Duke with a 24-10 lead on Elon as Andrell Anthony with the touchdown reception. Anthony with the score, but some news on another receiver, McKella.
Yeah, guys, Cooper Barkay came off after his catch and looked like he was in a considerable amount of pain. He was grimacing on the bench before showing a little bit of a limp as he went over to the medical tent. I'll keep you posted and keep an eye out down here.
Cooper Barkay has been outstanding tonight, more than 100 yards receiving. The transfer from Harvard, yeah, just motioning to the bench there. He's a guy who had Power 4 offers coming out of Mater Dei High School out in California. Said he wanted to go to Harvard, get that Ivy League education. How about that catch and run? Dylan Magazu. Magazu with the catch, the tight end. Forrest, you've had issues with some of his blocking tonight, but how about this catch?
I love what Magazu did on this catch. He's able to turn around, get the football, and you see the big fella rumbling down the field. Good job by Magazu to help his quarterback out of a ball that was thrown behind him, but he was able to make the adjustment and squeeze that football and get down the field.
Gain of 27, came in as a quarterback from high school, converted to tight end. The current quarterback, Landon Clark, getting some yards with whistles pre-snap.
And you mentioned it earlier, Barkay, think about his academic profile.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, all players were not set. 5-yard penalty, first down.
He's going to have degrees from Harvard and from Duke. I mean, and he looks like he's got Sunday talent. I mean, so sky's the limit for this guy right now.
7 days a week he could work if he'd like to. Look at Tony Trisciani. 7th season, record of 32-31 as head coach. A 6-6 record last year, winning their last 4 after starting 2-6. Clark stepping up, nice throw. Ooh, shoestring catch there by Magazoo. Back-to-back catches there for the tight end. That's a first down gain of 15.
And watch how he gets down and gets his hand under this football. Ooh. That is a special catch. My apologies, Magazoo. I think it's a catch. He keeps his hands under the football. That is a great adjustment by Magazoo.
Honorable mention, all conference last year. Motion here on the offensive line. Big number 75, Evan Safreed knew it.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So Magazoo makes a great catch and they get a false start. He makes another great catch and they get a false start. So they go forward to go backwards.
Magazoo, those 2 receptions all coming in the last minute and a half of play. Came in as a partial scholarship. He's got a full scholarship, earning it here in those back-to-back catches. Less than 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Clark, look at that elusiveness. Slides down, minimal gain. Gain of 4 on 1st and 15.
And I like the decision by Clark. Don't take any unnecessary contact. Very elusive. He had immediate pressure, and he was able to get what he could and not take any unnecessary contact.
Trisciani looking on 2nd down 11. Big possession here for Elon after giving up 2 touchdowns in the opening minutes of this 3rd quarter. Throws behind his intended receiver. One of the rare misfires for Clark. 5 for 11 on 3rd down.
And I thought Clark had some other opportunities to, or some other areas he could have went with that football. There were some other receivers that had broken open down the field. He looked like he may have predetermined where he was going with that football.
And then, you know, in pregame, we always do
3rd and 11. Clark over the middle of the field. That's his man. Guess who? Magazoo. First down. Gain of 19. 3rd catch on the drive for the tight end.
Now, I tell you what, Magazoo may not be great at blocking, but he is doing a darn good job catching the football and getting yards after the catch. We've seen him twist around and catch. We've seen him get it up off the ground. We've seen him catch the ball in traffic.
Magazoo in the formation again. 3 catches, 61 yards, all on this drive. Dan Frederick in the backfield, offside. Vincent Anthony Jr. a little too eager.
Number 7 with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And how about this drive so far, Matt, by this Elon offense?
Elon has been outstanding on this drive. 5 plays, 60 yards. Started at their own 25-yard line. And they are on the 15 after the false start. Fading back, got to get rid of it. Does, and throws it to his man, Frederick. Right around the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1. Could have been disastrous.
And a good job by Elon picking up the blitz. Look at Magazoo right here. Get to the inside and pick up the blitz.
Wesley Williams in on him, one of the team captains. Backey. Landon Backey. Knocked down just past the line of scrimmage.
around the left end.
3rd down and 4 for Elon here, down 2 touchdowns.
Nick Morris Jr.
Less than 90 seconds to go here in the 3rd. See if Coach Trisciani is thinking about a 4-down play. 6 for 12 on 3rd downs tonight. Landon Clark in the Phoenix. Clark, elusive, has time, has room, has the 1st down. Landon Clark found the opening and yet again picks it up, gain of 4. He's special tonight.
And a good job by Clark recognizing that there was man coverage on the outside, so the defender had his back to him. He did not see him once he got around the edge, and by the time he was able to turn around and locate him, he was past the sticks to get the 1st down.
1st down and goal now for Elon. .30 seconds to go here in the 3rd, trying to make it a 1-possession game into the 4th. Clark, late pitch. Nice tackle there on the edge by Kamari Robinson.
And that play was played excellent by the Duke defense. They made the quarterback make the decision, and then you see the other defender get to the outside, Kamari Robinson, to make the tackle. That is exactly how a defense is drawn up to stop that option play.
Gain of 1, 10th play of the drive upcoming, and it will probably happen in the 4th quarter. It'll be 2nd down and goal in the final stanza here in Durham. How about that? Kamari Robinson. Little helmet taps. Yep, it's 4th quarter. Good job, guys. We can all count. Manny Diaz and Duke trying to hold off Elon. 4th quarter coming up.
Welcome back to Wallace Wade Stadium. The score is 24-10 here with Duke head coach. Coach, how do you want to see your defensive unit get some more stops here?
We got to contain the quarterback, right? I mean, he obviously runs better than he throws. They've done a great job with QB run game, but we got to be diverse in our pass rush to not let him scramble and extend drives.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Vincent Anthony Jr. with the stop there. Mensa's done his job tonight. This defense needs to neutralize Landon Clark here on this 3rd down and goal.
And the way you do that is by staying in your rush lanes. A lot of times when you've got an aggressive defense, they want to make the big play. They don't stay in their rush lanes. So you've got to have rush lane consistency.
Dylan Magazoo at the near side, the tight end. He's been the go-to guy so far tonight on this drive. Clark, that quarterback run game again, knocked down at the 3-yard line. Caleb Weaver, the transfer from Sam Houston. First team All-Conference USA last year, holds him to a gain of 6. It's 4th down.
And once again, you don't have rush lane consistency, and you give Clark the space that he needs to get up the field. Everybody has an assignment, so you have to stay in your rush lanes to not give him that space that he got right there on that play to get up the field and get positive yards.
4-down territory, 4th down and goal at the 3. Backey in motion. Backey has it into the end zone. Touchdown! Landon Backey from Weddington High into the end zone here in Durham. What an answer.
And you know what makes that play? Landon Clark's running ability. The linebackers have to be weary of him pulling that ball out. That split second of them being indecisive of whether or not he's got the football or he's handing the ball off at that mesh point allows for the Backey to get enough space to get to the edge to get the touchdown.
12 plays, 75 yards. The point after from Barnes is good. The drive took 6:34. Elon answering.
And Backey, once again, getting around the edge, the Landon Clark effect.
Duke with a 24-17 lead. Landon Backey, the redshirt junior out of Monroe, North Carolina, with the touchdown. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Great game to watch here tonight. Peyton Jones on the return and hit by his own man. Ran right into Castle. We'll get a chance now to see Darian Mensah, who in the third quarter, 10 of 10 passing for 167 and 2 touchdowns, 300-yard night working on a 400-yard.
And it looks like he's going to have to pass for 400 yards for them to win this football game. So far, Duke has only rushed for 43 yards in a game where they talked about establishing more of a rushing attack, something that they've been working on in preseason camp that just has not come to fruition this evening.
Sean Brown in motion. A one-possession game here in Durham in the fourth quarter. This is all Elon could have asked for after last year's loss. Kamari Brown with the stop on Jaquez Moore. Gain of 4. Remember, this was the first time that Elon had been tied at the half with an FBS opponent in 16 games. Second and 6 at the 24. And so with the handoff. Good push there by that offensive line. Paris Lowry with the stop. Jaquez Moore picks up 5. Third down and 1. Anderson Castle now in at running back for Duke.
And if you're Elon right now, do you sell out and bring your linebackers?
Duke now 3 for 7 on third down. 3rd and 1 for Duke. Got it. And more. Anderson Castle. Anderson Castle. Tripped up at the 10.
And that's the danger of bringing your house and bringing your linebackers downhill, everybody in the box. So once the back gets past the line of scrimmage, there are no back end defenders to stop him. You see right there, he had to get run down from behind. If number 8 doesn't run him down, that's a touchdown.
Gain of 63, another gain, somewhat shorter.
And Darian James Hamilton saved a touchdown, but you had everybody in the box. So that's the fear when you bring everybody down and you sell out. There are no back-end defenders.
Career-long 63-yard run for Anderson Castle. Was more than 1,000 career rushing yards. Led App State to 3 bowl games. Was a team captain last year. And a good pickup here for Duke. Jaquez Moore now in at tailback. 2nd down and goal for Duke. 1 on the play clock. Mensah, touchdown. Samir Higgins bobbled, caught it, 6-yard strike. Mensah's 3rd touchdown pass of the night. He's closing in on 400 yards.
And that play was set up by Duke running the ball very effectively throughout that drive. They had not thrown the ball, and then you see Mensah right here, put the ball in the belly, pulls it out. The defense has to react, and you see right there, Higgins is able to get behind the defender, reacting to Mensah for the easy touchdown.
5 plays, 80 yards, 2 minutes, 39 seconds off the clock. Todd Polino puts the extra point through. Elon scores a touchdown. Duke answers right back. They converted a 3rd and 1. And then got the touchdown. Higgins. 5-play, 80-yard drive. Darian Mensah, 389 passing yards on the night. And Higgins with a couple of touchdown receptions. Matt Schick, Forrest Connolly, McKellar Chester down on the field with us. This was a game that was tied at 10 at the half. DJ Thomas Jr. calls for the fair catch. Mensah with 3 touchdowns, as efficient as they come tonight.
Well, he's done a good job of spreading the ball around. 9 different receivers have touched the ball this afternoon. Samir Higgins right here adjusting to make the touchdown catch. And then here he gets the ball to Andrell Anthony, one of the transfers in. And here back to Samir Higgins again. He's done an excellent job of getting the ball to all of his receivers. He's got one receiver, Barcade, over 100 yards. Quayshawn Brown is 7 yards away from having a 100-yard night. Just big play after big play. A long of 46 to Barcade, another long 44-yard pass to Quayshawn Brown. He's done everything as advertised.
Clark in trouble. Wow, look at him get by the defenders. Eventually taken down was Nick Morris Jr. A gain of 8 for Landon Clark, and now he's down.
Tackled by number 36, Nick Morris Jr.
He went down awkward right there. And you hate to see that. It's almost like his leg got jammed down into the ground. Hopefully it's just cramps. He's cramping right now. The way they're massaging his calves, it looks like it may just be some cramping. We hope that's all it is.
Tony Trisciani checking on him. Marco Linez, the transfer from Iowa, spent 2 years at Iowa. Between he and Clark coming into tonight, he was the only one that had completed a college pass. Completed 2 of them against Tennessee in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in 2023.
And it looks like they're massaging his calves. That's a good sign. It may just be cramping and not an injury. And that tends to happen. You know, this is the first game of the season. You know, Clark's been very active running the football, running for his life at times. But, you know, running the football very effectively as well.
See what happened here with Landon Clark.
See right there, his elusiveness. Yeah, it looked like he went down awkward, but right there it looks like it's just cramps.
Like he was okay until he tried to get up.
Yeah.
So Marco Linez, the redshirt sophomore, transfer from Iowa, now in at quarterback. He can run too. He dives down. Gain of 8 and a first down.
Rushes up the middle for
and a
Elon.
flag.
Tackled by number 3, Caleb Weaver.
Placed at the 35-yard line.
Holding offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Braden Walker, the center, the guilty party. We'll see if Clark checks back in.
And this is a deficiency this Duke defense is going to have to work on as the season progresses. The middle of that defense seems to be opening up for these quarterback draws. They have not been able to slow that down. You see Clark goes out the game, Linez comes in, and he's able to get positive yards. Although it was a holding, but it's still something that they've got to work on.
Linez remains in the game. The pitch to Thomas. Thomas gathered down at the 25-yard line. 5 penalties for Elon, 4 against their offensive unit. Third down. Clark remains on the sideline. How sustainable is the way they're using him tonight over the course of a season?
Well, you know, you've got to remember, we've got, you know, the big play receivers not playing tonight. So when they get him back, I don't think we'll see him run as much because I don't know if they'll face as much defensive pressure if they face with this Duke defensive front and how aggressive they play. But you have to wonder about that sustainability because he is by far the best option at quarterback with what we've seen him be able to do. But you've got to protect him, you know, and you know, like I said, I'm glad it's just cramps, it seems like, and nothing more. But the more contact your quarterback takes, the more opportunities you have for him to get hurt. Now, he does do a good job of getting down and avoiding unnecessary contact.
Wesley Williams rips down Linez and brings up a 4th down, the 6th punt of the night for the FCS All-American Jeff Yerk. Game slipping away here from Elon. Duke asserting itself offensively. Quayshawn Brown coming to the near side. Has plenty of room. Has some blocks. Punter last man to beat him. Brown all the way. House call. "78 yards, and Duke has blown it open."
And we talked about it. Special teams always play a big role, especially in openers. And you see right there, Duke may have gotten away with the block in the back, but a good job by Brown on the outside, following his convoy of blockers, and then when he gets to the edge, he's able to outrun the rest of the Elon defenders to get to the end zone.
Quayshawn Brown, who set the Duke freshman record for punt returns last year. His yardage was the 4th most in a season for a Blue Devil since 1996. And he finds the end zone for the first time. Q with the TD. Well, good second half here for Duke. The first half of their schedule, though, they better clean some things up very quickly. They've got Illinois next week, and then going back to Darian Benson's old stopping ground.
And then that tough matchup with in-state rival NC State, so it doesn't get any easier for this Duke ball club.
Magic Force Connolly, 38-17. Duke has blown this one open. Talked a lot about special teams here tonight. We've seen some good, we've seen some rough, but by and large, It's been a mixed bag.
Well, you see right here, Duke with the fumble, then running into the kicker right here, which I thought should have been a roughing the kicker. Then the kicker drops to the snap. But then you finally get the money play here with Brown getting the ball, getting to the edge, getting the blocks that he needed, following his convoy and showing the speed to get to the end zone.
His longest return last year was 24 yards. He more than tripled it. 78-yard punt return touchdown. Lainez remains in the game, and you got to think that might be it for Landon Clark tonight.
Well, Landon Clark's shown enough, and you want to protect your quarterback. And, you know, Elon has shown me a lot. I think they're going to be a very, very tough out for the rest of their opponents. And Landon Clark is only going to get better with repetitions.
The previous 2 years against FBS opponents, they had only scored 1 offensive touchdown. They've got 2 tonight.
And they've been with impressive drives, not big chunk plays, but, you know, sustained drives down the field.
Lainez to Jamel Williams. He's picking up a first down. Gain of 10.
You know, when you talk about scoring drives, a lot of times you can get scores on a big play here and there or a busted play. But the way that they've been able to score the football and drive the ball down the field against this Duke defense has been very impressive. And I think that is something to hang their hat on as they move forward with this season.
Williams. Stop there on the play by Andrew Pellicciata. As we look at Wendell Clark, Lainez in the game. Clark on the bike. Loosening up. Really loved what Coach Tony Trisciani was talking to us about the way his program is constructed. They understand the role that they play, and they embrace it. Lainez, one hops his intended receiver. About selling guys on, we're going to keep you as long as we can. And eventually, you're going to have an opportunity to play for a major conference, a Power 4 team. So let us develop you. That's the role that these programs play now.
Well, he told us, he said they don't expect to keep T.J. Thomas. He says, we know he's a special guy. He's a guy that will very likely move on. But then he talked about recruiting and how, because so many Power 4 and FBS programs are in the portal, it offers them more opportunity to go out and get some of that top-level high school talent.
Williams nearing a first down. Gain of 9 here. Look at the FBS transfer portal entrance year by year. You think NIL and the portal change things?
And the interesting thing about that is people don't realize just because you go in the portal doesn't mean you find a home. There are a lot of players that jump in the portal but don't find homes. But what it does, once again, it allows for high school recruiting to be effective for FCS programs, for some of the smaller programs.
4th down and 1. Backey shy of the first down on 4th and 1. And that will be a turnover on down.
And you have to be a 4-star or 5-star player now to even get a look from some of the Power 4 programs, because they're going in the portal and getting 8 to 10 players out of the portal. So that takes away from the recruiting pool.
We asked Coach Trisciani, have you seen a difference in the caliber of high school talent that's available to you? He said, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then he also talked about when he's got a player that's excelling, the importance of developing the backup, because he knows it's very likely that player's not going to be there the following year. So he wants to make sure that the guy behind him is getting the repetitions needed to be able to step in and be a contributor the next year.
Nate Shepard had himself a nice debut as the freshman. Gain of 11 for the first down. Comes from a pretty athletic family. He lettered in basketball and track and field. His mom played volleyball at Louisiana Tech. His father, Willie, was a 4-man letterman as a defensive back at Louisiana Tech. And, of course, you might remember his brother played 4 years at Vanderbilt before finishing at Colorado. Top 10 all-time receiving yards at Vandy. That was his brother Will, of course, played for the Buffs and the Doors. Similar shades of colors. Shepard again. Trying to pull the shirt. Shepard with another first down. Gain of 10 there for Shepard.
You see Brody Carroll, he didn't want to let that shirt go. You see him pulling, and he's trying to rip it out.
Brody Carroll, Division II transfer. There's Nate Shepard, the freshman. It was interesting, these season openers, to see how many freshmen play and what kind of impact they have. Nate Shepard is going to be a special one here at Duke. Benson keeps it. It's really not his game. It's more about extending the pocket, extending the play, than it is being a dual threat.
And if I'm the coaching staff from Duke, I'm telling Mensa, give the ball to Shepard. I don't want you running the football.
38-17, right?
We've got a big game next week. We need you. You've shown us enough this evening.
Big game against Illinois next week. Brett Bielema is preseason top 15 team. And then they go to Tulane. Take on Darian Mensa's old team in New Orleans. And then they play NC State. I mean, that's a tough 3-game stretch. This game was no gimme through 3 quarters. Look at their schedule after a gain of 4 from Shepard. And then a trip to Syracuse. I mean, these next 4 games, then you're going out west to Cal. Get to that bye week unscathed. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and then you've got a tough Georgia Tech team coming in.
Trip to Clemson. No gimmies, no layups on that schedule. An interesting year in the ACC. Bill Belichick at North Carolina. Opening up against TCU on Monday. Shepard stays on his feet. Jared Kirksey with the stop. Whistles are blown. Flag on the play.
There's some really interesting games in the ACC.
Offside, defense, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
This opening weekend, some of these matchups, we're going to find out about some teams in the ACC.
Clemson and LSU coming up this weekend. Florida State and Alabama. How about Georgia Tech and Colorado?
That's a very interesting football game to me. That Tech-Colorado game
Shared
tomorrow
a national
night.
championship many years ago.
You know, you got Haynes King and Jamal Haynes. And then you've got the quarterback situation in Colorado with Caden Salter and Juju Lewis, the 5-star recruit. It'll be interesting to see what that Colorado team is without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and Shiloh Sanders and some of the other guys they lost to the draft. Horn.
Well, Darian Mensa's night appears to be over. Henry Beelan, the 4th, is now in the game in his 10th career game. Played in the bowl game last year after Murphy opted out. Henry Beelan, the 4th. His 4th season, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. And if that's the end of the night for Darian Mensa, he will finish just shy of 400 yards passing. 27 of 34 for 389 and 3 touchdowns.
I'd say those pretty good opening night numbers.
Peyton Jones to the edge. Wade Gullickson on the stop. If you're curious, Duke was expected to win this game by anywhere from 33 to 37 points. Elon is likely going to prevent that from happening. And Duke will take this down to the 2-minute timeout. All in a night's work for Darian Mensa. Captain, debut, Pretty good. Perhaps the best is yet to come for the Budo. Yeah, you perform well in your debut. Yeah, you get a bag of Skittles. Why not? 38-17 for Darian Mensah. Finishes with 3 touchdowns and 11 yards shy of the 400-yard plateau. Into the end zone. Did he break the play? He did. Peyton Jones dropped a touchdown in the first half. Runs one into the fourth quarter.
And a good job by the offensive line getting movement at the point of attack, firing off with a flat back. When you're down in goal line offense, you basically want to almost be in a 4-point stance, but you want to get a flat back. You want to fire off your seat linemen down the field, getting to the second level defenders. A good job by number 70, Jack Small, to get up to those second level defenders. Some of those second team guys getting in there and getting an opportunity.
5-yard rushing touchdown for Peyton Jones, 45-17.
Good. 155 remains in the game. Score 45, Elon 17.
And we've talked about Mensah throughout the night, but the thing that stands out to me the most, not only his poise and his ability to know where to go with the football, but the fact that he spread the ball around, Matt. 9 different receivers saw the football this evening. And if you're a defense, you know, game planning against him, there's no favorite guy that you can focus on. And his ability to be multiple with where he goes with the football, I think is what makes him dangerous moving forward for this offense.
The last Duke quarterback to throw for more than 400 yards in a game, Daniel Jones, back in 2018 in the Independence Bowl, he threw for 423. We were 11 yards away from that happening again. It's been 7 years since it happened at Duke. And, you know, play call here or there, he easily has that.
Well, if he doesn't drop that one touchdown.
Barkay dropped a pass as well. He had a couple of drops tonight to Duke, but again, those are going to happen.
Yeah.
His first games.
But I think it was a real good showing. And you see why he was one of the more favorite players in the portal, and teams were making offers. And you talk about this kid playing with a chip on his shoulder. Here's a guy that was overlooked coming out of high school. You know, in the offseason, they've got film of him training with Cam Ward. Cam Ward was the same way, a guy that was overlooked, went to Incarnate Word, his head coach transferred and took the coordinator's job at Washington State. He got over to Washington State, got to Miami, became the #1 overall pick. I'm not saying Mensah's going to be the #1 overall pick, but you see the same type of energy from this guy. You know, a player that was overlooked, that played with a chip on his shoulder, is getting an opportunity now at a Power 4 program, and you see the numbers and the potential.
Darian Mensah worked together with his team in the summer, throwing extra passes in practice. Just felt the connection that he had with his team was going to manifest itself tonight. And you mentioned it, 9 different receivers. That's Exhibit A.
And also the coach is trusting him to tell receivers how to run routes and where to run the route. And you've mentioned it a couple of times, being voted team captain. You know, all of those things come into play and let you know the character of this young man and the aura that he brings.
(45-17). On the bright side for Elon, a good showing for the Phoenix and 162 rushing yards in this game as they add to that. They only had 30 last year against Duke. So if tonight's any indication, Elon's going to have a fine season.
I absolutely think Elon is going to be a problem for teams moving forward, and they have put everyone on notice. And this quarterback, Landon Clark, he is as advertised. And, you know, a lot of times coaches kind of embellish when they talk about their players and their ability to be special with what they do. Well, there's no embellishment going on with Landon Clark. He is as advertised, and I think he's going to be a really good player for this program moving forward.
Well, the Fighting West Durhams, Elon Phoenix come up just shy against Duke. Duke with a 45-17 emphatic win as they pull away in the second half for us, Connolly.
And for Duke, you know, they've got some things to work on defensively, but offensively, they found their man with Darian Mensah, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he continues to grow in this program and with this football team.
For McKellar Chester, for Bill Garrity, our spotter, for Russ DeLynn, our statistics, and Forrest Connolly and our producer Aaron Owens, I'm Matt Schick. So long, Duke, the winner.
is taking people deep.